It's a better pill to swallow.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Cincinnati, Ohio, he's an NWF Hall of Famer, the manager of champions, Professor Bitterman, Kirk Sheppard.
It's a better pill to swallow.
Hey everybody, welcome to The Bitter Pill. My name is Kirk Sheppard and I am your host on this very strange pro wrestling self-improvement hybrid podcast. Welcome. Glad you're here. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great time. Hope you're doing everything you want to be doing and more. So just got home from something I want to talk about in a second, but I wanted to mention I'm going to be at the Louisville Book Festival coming up next Saturday, the 11th of October. There'll be over 150 authors and presenters, including the newly named host of the new rebooted Reading Rainbow, Michael. He's going to be at the Louisville Book Festival along with me with my book Soul Audit. So if you're in the Louisville area, please come say hi. It's free, and we'd love to chat, sign you a copy of the book, and we're going to talk about Soul Audit in just a little bit. So I just got home, and I think it's a great example of self-care. So for anybody who's new to the program, protecting the gimmick is a reference to, a gimmick is your wrestling character or persona. And so when I do a self-care segment, I like to call it protect the gimmick. So it's important that you protect your essence, your character, your soul. And had a long week this week. Saw lots of clients, saw a musical last night after work. And then today I worked again and had the opportunity to do a little social mixer with the apartment building that I live in at a restaurant nearby. And I wasn't going to go. But I thought, well, it's a good opportunity to have some FaceTime with the manager of the building, and that relationship's important to me. And so I decided I'd stick my head in and say hello. And I ended up staying the entire time. I was having a great time just chatting with them, meeting some of the new residents in the building, some of my neighbors, and just building that relationship with the people who I live nearby. It was fun, and it was very much a recharge. Despite spending my week with people, being able to spend with people who didn't have the same relationship with me. So a client session is a different sort of interaction than a social one. And so it was really important that I spent time doing that. And I sometimes think the lesson I think from this is that sometimes the things that we think we're going to do for self-care, which would have been staying home, are actually the exact opposite of what we need to do to protect our gimmick.
Protect the gimmick. Take a break, don't be a cynic. Your body's the brand.
So how are you? It's October now. We're heading towards Halloween. Then it'll be Thanksgiving. Then it'll be Christmas. And then it'll be New Year. I want to get you thinking now because we're heading into this last quarter of the year. And I no longer do New Year's resolutions. I do a word of the year or a theme. And I think it's an important idea. So for you to pick a theme, an idea, a word that you want to focus on in 2026. So I'm still working on what mine's going to be. This year was humility. And that's why Broken Stools, my new book, comes out in November, because I wrote about humility all year. So think about that, and we can talk more about that as we get closer, but I would love to help you kind of figure out what you want to focus on in 2026.
It's the Bitter Book Club. It's the Bitter Book Club. Book Club.
The Bitter Book Club. Of course, our book that we're reading now is my book, Soul Audit, a not-so-perfect, broadly spiritual or not guide to aligning your life. And today's chapter is chapter 3, and we're going to talk about emotions. The chapter is called Feelings Are Not the Problem. When we talk about alignment, of course, as a recap, we're talking about getting your soul, which is not a spiritual term as much as it is a term about the essence of who you are. It's getting that part of you aligned so that you know yourself and that you can live out your values and that you can feel authentic and be authentic in the world. That you can show up as you everywhere you go and not be conflicted about that. And emotional alignment is a part of that. And so it's important to recognize that emotions aren't flaws. A lot of people feel like, oh, they're too sensitive. They have a lot of feelings. Like it's a bad thing. But emotions are really signals, not malfunctions. And the alignment process when it comes to emotional alignment actually starts with noticing. I always say that my job is awareness and practice. It's two things. And awareness would be noticing your emotions and what are they trying to communicate. So the role of emotions are to give us data. They are oftentimes fast and strong and sometimes inaccurate. Feelings are not always true, but they are always useful if we know how to read the signal. So when you're getting that data, the question you want to ask is, what is this feeling? What is this emotion telling me? If you have anxiety, something will feel off. If you have anger, maybe somebody crossed a boundary. If you have sadness, perhaps you're experiencing a loss. But instead of just focusing on the emotion and not the meaning behind it, you're missing the point. A panic attack oftentimes is our body's way of saying to us, yo, there's a problem. You're doing too much. You're going too hard. Anger outbursts, protective and expressive. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Sadness, even being happy. What about this experience is making me feel good? Misalignment is when you ignore your emotions. Things like stay calm. By the way, I've never ever known anybody who was having an emotional moment being told to stay calm to ever stay calm. Doesn't work. We can eliminate be calm, calm down, get that out of your vocabulary. It's not helpful. Be strong. Strong people don't show emotions. That's baloney. And only acceptable emotions are ones that make other people happy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. I'm going to make you feel good because I don't want you to feel sad, so I'm not going to be sad. And a lot that does is lead to disconnection and exhaustion because misalignment leads to those things. Now, I said anger is expressive and protective. What I mean by that is that it's often a secondary emotion. It's often the thing that we feel after the initial thing hits because it moves us into a bodyguard mood. If somebody has wronged us and it makes us sad, the protective thing is to become angry and express that. So people are communicated to, hey, I'm not safe, stay away from me. It is the thing that covers up fear and shame and sadness, and it also prevents vulnerability a lot. Anger is a secondary emotion. It's expressive and protective. I can't stress that enough. And so when you feel angry, I want you to evaluate, what am I really feeling? It's oftentimes the only acceptable emotion that we are allowed to show, especially for men. And I always joke that my job is to take you from Rambo just a little closer to Oprah when it comes to expressing your emotions. Emotional fluency or emotional intelligence, two different things, but similar ideas. Emotional intelligence is being aware of emotions and being able to understand them, having a wide vocabulary about them. Emotional fluency is being able to not only be aware of them, but also practice how we regulate them. So strength isn't about intensity. Strength's about honesty. Vulnerability is strength. Vulnerability is brave. And emotional fluency is being able to express the full range of emotions. Because if you selectively numb emotion, you numb all emotion. You can't only feel good. Feeling sad actually increases your capacity for joy. Somebody one time told me that they were an empath. And I don't know that I believe in empaths. I believe in empathy, and I believe that there are people who are more empathetic than others. And I often think that what you're telling me when you say I'm an empath is actually I have PTSD, or if I've experienced a lot of trauma where I needed to develop survival skills and tactics to keep me safe. Trauma feels like intuition. But true empathy is capacity without collapse. It's the ability to go watch a sad play and feel sad with the characters, and then also stand and applaud and recognize how beautiful the performance was and leave it in the theater. Empathy is being able to go to work every day, like I do, and sit across from somebody telling you a horrible story about their childhood, feeling that with them in the moment, and then moving on to the next person without devastating my soul. That's true empathy. Trauma response is when you feel everyone in the room's feelings and don't know how to move forward. Like I said, you can't numb emotions selectively. You have to realize that when you avoid sadness, you also lose joy. And when you shut down pain, you're shrinking your ability to wonder. Emotional depth is equivalent to fuller humanity. Now, there'll be people who say, oh, so-and-so is emotionally unavailable, or they're very well guarded, and that may be true. But maybe they're not unavailable, they're just armored up. Maybe they've experienced an awful lot of hurt, trauma, negative things. And so their sarcasm, their anger, their silence, that's protection. Their armor hides grief, fear, and tenderness. But what if they were given the opportunity through your curiosity to explore those feelings in a safe way? So they may cry, they may feel bad temporarily, but wouldn't it be nice to feel bad with somebody who loves you, who can hug you, or give you comfort, or provide support, and say, you know what, it's okay to feel that way. I'm so glad that you told me. So here's some things to notice about yourself when it comes to the alignment process. Do you cry when you're angry? Do you go silent when you're scared? Do you get louder when you're ashamed? Those are habits, not flaws. People who cry when they're angry, which is something I do, are just overcome with emotion. Because the anger isn't the anger. Anger isn't the emotion I'm feeling. Anger is the emotion I'm showing. And actually, I'm not even showing it because I'm actually crying. Because I'm actually feeling sad, or I'm feeling hurt, or I'm feeling embarrassed, or I'm feeling let down, or I'm feeling rejected, or being aware of what it is we're actually feeling is important. So in the auditing process, we want to take a look at these questions. So any of these true for you? Do you justify instead of feeling? Do you say things when someone expresses an apology? Like the other day I said to somebody, I'm so sorry you're going through this. And they're like, oh, it's okay. I'm like, it's absolutely not okay. And I'm also allowed to be sorry with you and feel this with you. And you're allowed to be sad and mad about it. You don't need to justify or make me feel better or dismiss it. Are you ever told that you're too much or not enough? Are you emotionally shut down, or are you too sensitive? Are you too intense? Do you feel too much? Do you notice emotional habits when you're vulnerable? Are there things that you do when you feel vulnerable that runs away or fights or freezes? How about this? Have you made peace with one emotion? Are you okay feeling sad? Or are you okay with feeling rejected? Or are you okay with feeling scared? Work on that. So the audit to action piece is how we move from the audit, the awareness, to the practice. So the awareness is, what is this emotion showing me? And the practice is picking that emotion and noticing and naming it. Remember that feelings aren't permanent, but they are useful. Emotional alignment is about honesty, not being calm. And courage is about letting yourself feel what's real and being vulnerable about it. So that's emotions, emotional alignment. Next time we're going to talk about boundaries. And I hope you'll come back for that next week. If you have questions, thoughts, I'd love to hear them. If you're a member of the Patreon for the Good Brothers, the wrestling group that this podcast became a part of at the beginning, please put them in the chat. Comment underneath the video. If you are someone who's on my Substack, reach out to me if you have questions or thoughts. Or schedule a coaching session with me. You can hop on my schedule. We're at kirkthecounselor.com or kirksheppard.com, and we can talk about these sorts of things in a psychoeducational way that's not counseling, and get you maybe started on the audit process for yourself. Or we can also dig into your emotions if we feel like that perhaps you need more than just coaching. Or we can refer you to somebody if I know you in a way that makes it unethical for me to actually work with you. Don't be afraid to reach out, is the point, okay? I hope that you are enjoying this book club process and learning through things. I'm having a great time because I am working on more content around the book, like a video course and being able to create these slides and kind of review it with you is the first step into me actually producing that more professional product. Hope that you're having a great week. Again, you can come see me next Saturday at the Louisville Book Festival, the Kentucky International Convention Center in downtown Louisville. And if you're hanging around Louisville on Friday night, I'll probably be hanging out somewhere downtown. Probably not anywhere too public, too crowded, because I don't like crowds. Oh, by the way, speaking of crowds, I went to the Renaissance Festival here in Ohio last Saturday. You ever been? You can read all about my experience over at my Substack, right here. The blog post is called Leaving Early, and it's one of my better works. I hope you'll enjoy it. Okay, that's going to do it for today. I hope you're enjoying this now that it's on Fridays. And for now, this has been A Bitter Pill to Swallow.
It's a bitter pill to swallow.
The Bitter Pill with Kirk Sheppard is part of the Talk and Shop media empire. The preceding video was produced as educational and entertainment content only. Kirk Sheppard is a licensed mental health therapist. However, the material on this broadcast should not be considered clinical or representative of his professional work in that context.
It's a bitter pill to swallow.
Professor Bitterman is a fictional character and may not reflect his actual views and opinions. For more content from Kirk Sheppard, go to kirksheppard.com. Follow him on Facebook and Instagram, and subscribe to his Substack and YouTube channels.
Please subscribe to the Talk and Shop podcast on YouTube for more content from the Good Brothers.